And then something happened. Then candidates started learning from the polls that Indiana is a very long shot for Ted Cruz, a potential nightmare for Cruz and anyone who's in the not Trump camp. And by Saturday, Cruz had left Indiana to campaign in California, looking ahead to a state's primary that's a month away. Saturday, Ted Cruz said, quote, California is going to decide the Republican primary, but Indiana is tomorrow. And today in Indiana, an extraordinary thing happened. Ted Cruz was getting some heckling from some Trump supporters, so Cruz went over to have a conversation with them. It was a rare confrontation, almost 7 minutes long and a sight to behold. In its entirety, here it is.
I think anyone that wants to be president owes it to the people of this state to come in front of you and ask for your support. And I'm running to be everyone's president, those who vote for me, even those
we
who
don't want you.
Well, you're entitled to your view, sir, and I will respect it. In fact, I will
do the math.
I will protect
you ask
your
cases
rights.
to drop out, it's your turn.
Well,
take your own words.
Now I'm curious, sir.
Time to drop out.
When Donald doesn't get to 1237, you're going to call
Donald's definitely going to get to 1237. No, he's going to get more than 1237.
Let me ask you something, sir. What do you like about Donald?
Everything.
Give me one.
Everything.
Give me one. Can you pick any?
The wall.
Okay, the wall.
That's the main thing.
All right.
Immigration. Building the wall.
All right, hold on a second. Now, do you know on the wall that Donald told the New York Times editorial board he's not going to build a wall and he's not going to deport anyone?
Lying. Once again, lying Ted.
Well, sir, you know, actually, civilized people don't just scream and yell at each other. I'm not yelling at you. Do you know that Donald's words were caught on tape? The New York Times reported the whole thing, publicly reported. That's a total lie made up by Donald Trump.
Okay, lying Ted.
Let me ask.
Career politicians have killed America.
You are the problem.
Let me ask you.
You are the problem, politician. You are the problem.
Can I ask you something?
No.
Can I ask you something? Out of all of the candidates, name one who had $1 million judgment against him for hiring illegal aliens.
Name one.
Donald Trump is the.
That's right.
Okay,
Not
so you like rich people who buy politics.
Where's your Goldman Sachs jacket at? We know your wife works there.
Actually, I was supported by, and am supported by 1.3 million contributions all over the country. Our average contribution is $60. On immigration, you know Donald Trump had $1 million judgment against him for hiring illegal aliens. You know what he's doing right now in Florida? He brings in hundreds of foreign workers instead of hiring Americans. Sir, with all respect, Donald Trump is deceiving you. He is playing you for a chump. And ask yourself two questions. Why is it that the mainstream media so desperately wants Donald Trump to be the Republican nominee?
Every chance they get.
And why is it that John Boehner supports Donald Trump? Do you agree with John Boehner?
No.
Do you agree with Nancy Pelosi?
The thing is, I don't agree with everybody, but I believe in Trump. He's the only one that's going to put us where we need to be. What are you going to do about our Second Amendment?
Okay, great question.
What are you going to do about
the
the Second Amendment?
Yeah. All right, I have defended the Second Amendment in front of the Supreme Court of the United States. Do you know that Donald Trump supported Bill Clinton's national ban on some of the most popular firearms in America? And that is a fact. You can go read his book where he said, I agree with Bill Clinton. In fact, he said, I hate guns. That's a quote from Donald Trump. I have spent 20 years fighting to defend the Second Amendment. And I'll tell you this, sir. If Donald Trump ever becomes president, he has said on the Supreme Court he's going to cut a deal with Chuck Schumer. He said that in 2 debates ago, which means he's going to put a liberal on the Supreme Court. He's going to take away your Second Amendment right. There is a reason why Gun Owners of America has endorsed me in this campaign, because I've defended the Second Amendment my whole life, while Donald Trump is a New York liberal who will take away your Second Amendment rights. This man is lying to you, and he's taking advantage of you. And I would encourage you, sir, look, I appreciate your being out here speaking. If I were Donald Trump, I wouldn't have come over and talked to you. I wouldn't have shown you that respect. In fact, you know what I would have done? I would have told the folks over there, go over and punch those guys in the face. That's what Donald does to protesters. I think a candidate is campaigning to work for you. Okay, stop. What word did I say was a lie?
About Donald telling people to punch people.
Okay, let me ask you, sir. Just go home and Google Donald punch in the face protesters. And at his rallies, look, this is on national television. You can watch the facts of him standing at the podium saying, punch that guy in the face. I mean, and in fact, he says I'll pay your legal fees when you punch him in the face. And there's a problem. Listen, Donald Trump has accused everyone in this race of being a liar. Donald cannot tell the truth in 1 minute.
You'll find out tomorrow.
So-
Indiana don't want you.
Well, sir, you are entitled to have
we
your
don't.
rights, but I'll tell you this. Sir, America is a better country.
Without you.
Thank you for those kind sentiments. Let me point out, I have treated you respectfully the entire time. And a question that everyone here should ask.
Are you Canadian?
Do you want your
Are you
kids?
Canadian?
Do you want your kids repeating the words of Donald Trump? Would you be proud if your kids came cursing and yelling and insulting? And let me give you an example of Donald's problems with the truth. Yesterday, he was on national television. He was asked about his support from Mike Tyson, a convicted rapist. And his response is, Ted says Tyson's a rapist. That's why we call him Lion Ted. Mike Tyson was convicted by a jury of his peers, served 3 years in prison for rape here in the state of Indiana, and yet Donald screamed, it's a lie to say Mike Tyson is a racist. Sir, facts matter. Truth
You want to carpet
matters.
bomb women and children, huh?
Now, that's actually interesting. You say carpet bomb women and children.
Those are your words.
No,
Carpet bomb.
actually.
I added the women and children because that's what you're going to be doing when you carpet bomb somewhere.
Sir, let me respond to you. It's interesting that you added women and children because your candidate, Donald Trump, came out and said he would order our military to kill the women and children, the wives and children of terrorists, which is a war crime. When he was asked in the debate, what about when soldiers don't want to commit a war crime and murder women and children? He's the one who said women and children. He said, I will tell them to do it and they will obey me. I'll tell you, anyone who served in the armed services, a president who thinks he's going to order American soldiers to commit war crimes is a president who doesn't respect the fighting men and women of this country. What I said is we're going to carpet bomb ISIS. We're going to target the terrorists, take out their infrastructure, take out their command and control, take out their oil refineries. Nobody would target women and children except for a bully like Donald Trump. Sir,
That's right.
I respect your right to speak, but I'm also going to say in America, we are a nation that is better than anger and insults and cursing and rage. And I believe the people of Indiana have a common sense, good judgment that we want real solutions. Thank you, sir, and God-
Ted Cruz versus Trump supporters who declined to give their name in Indiana, where Cruz is vowing to stay in the race even if he loses the state to Donald Trump tomorrow, which the polls suggest he will, potentially by a very big number. Listen to the words Cruz chooses here.
I am in for the distance. As long as we have a viable path to victory, I am competing to the end. And the reason is simple. Listen, this isn't about me. It isn't about Donald Trump. It isn't about any of the candidates. This is about our country and our future.
A viable path to victory. What exactly is a viable path to victory? He repeated that phrase again and again today. We've heard him say it multiple networks. Viable path. Donald Trump has already blocked Ted Cruz from winning the nomination outright, and the billionaire New Yorker told Chris Wallace yesterday the race is already over.
It's over. Cruz cannot win. He's got no highway. He's got nothing. He's way behind. I'm leading him by millions and millions of votes, and I'm leading him by 400 or 500 delegates. He can't win.
Well, if Donald Trump wins Indiana tomorrow, he could reach the 1,237 delegates he needs before the convention. Some political analysts are predicting the state may be the last stand for Ted Cruz. Because if Donald Trump gets 1,237 delegates, does that eliminate Ted Cruz's viable path? Under the rules, it absolutely does. A new poll from the Wall Street Journal and NBC News shows him losing to Donald Trump by 15 points. Would you look at that? And it shows John Kasich at 13%, even though he stopped campaigning in Indiana as part of that whole Team Kasich thing. That said, combine Cruz and Kasich for Kasich, and Trump still wins in that poll. Of course, that never really seemed like much of an alliance in the first place, that whole Kasich thing. Kasich said he would not tell supporters not to vote for him, but Kasich was just part of Ted Cruz's plan to win Indiana. He campaigned heavily across the state, got the endorsement from its governor, did that whole announcement of Carly Fiorina as his hypothetical running mate, and then Ted Cruz blinked.